Specific gravity is a measure of the dissolved sugars within wort. Those sugars, a majority of them are fermentable, so ultimately they're a measure of potential alcohol. So measuring the specific gravity at the start of the fermentation, and at the end of the fermentation we can get a measure of how much alcohol is being produced, and ultimately measure an indication that our fermentation is finished as well. 7 days is typical for majority of our yeasts. Some are a little faster than that. It is all dependent on the temperature that you're holding the fermentation at. 25 degrees, you might even take a day off the fermentation. Within the Black Rock kits, we have clear instructions of what our starting gravity is and what our end gravity is. We can cross-check it with a hydrometer and measure that specific gravity and confirm that we've made it up to the instruction. This is a hydrometer used for measuring specific gravity. The hydrometer has a scale from 1,000 for water through to around about 1,060, which is the typical specific gravity for a high alcohol beer, say around 6%. First thing we need to do is just loosen the lid slightly. That will stop the water and the airlock being pulled in when we take a sample out of the fermenter. So we just loosen that off a few turns. What we do then, we have a vessel called a measuring cylinder. We'll collect around 90 mils of wort from here, and then we'll test it with the hydrometer. So all it simply requires is the hydrometer to be put into the wort and it floated in there. And you'll see on the hydrometer there's a scale, which is, we've got to have enough volume in there that the hydrometer is floating, as we can see there, and we can read off the reading at the liquid interface there, and we can see that's 1,044 SG, which is appropriate to making up 2 cans of extract. So if we use this chart here, that tells us that 1045 SG will give us a potential alcohol content of 5.8%. The hydrometer is impacted by temperature of the wort. So the hydrometer scale is based on around 20-degree measurement. So if we have wort that's excessive, there is within this instruction here, there is a correction factor. I think it shows on here, if you have a temperature of around 25 degrees, there's a correction factor of plus 0.001 there. So that can be used. We test gravity when you make the brew up. It's not absolutely essential. In the latter stages of the fermentation, when we see our bubbling start to stop in that, then we should consider measuring SG. That would be like around about 7 days into the fermentation. To know that the brew is ready for bottling, we want an SG that's stable for 24 hours.